Hey guys, what's up? We are back on the Royalty with another episode, another amazing race recap. And today we are joined by the lovely Kishori from season 36 of The Amazing Race. Now, you may remember Kishori and her cousin Karishma. They were chaotic, they were fun, they were young, they were Team Pink, and we loved watching you guys. I can't
Yes.
because season 36 was the first season that we went back and reviewed in full when we sort of had a feeling we would be going on the show. And
Okay.
so I feel like you always fall in love with your introduction to something. And so 36 will always hold a special place in our hearts. And you and Karishma are the exact same number of years apart that me and Simone are. We're
Yes.
all half Indian. You're from Maryland. I live in DC. Karishma used to live in Chicago. We're from Chicago. So just a lot of parallels. We saw a lot of ourselves in you. And so it's such an honor to have you on the podcast. Thank
Oh my
you.
gosh. Thank you guys
Thank
so
you,
much for
Kishori, for
having me. Match made
coming.
in heaven. I love this.
No, same. We were saying how, as an homage to this episode, as Matt and Megan being sadly eliminated, we have another Turner to help us recap the podcast.
There you go.
Exactly. That's
Commonality.
yes, that's the prereq for coming on. Everyone
Exactly.
needs to be Turner. Um,
Turner.
well, speaking of Matt and Megan Turner, here is our exit interview with them.
Okay, hello, Megan and Turner. Thank you for joining us on of course, the Royalty podcast, as
Yeah.
always. I just want to tell you congratulations. I think you guys did amazing. Now, of course, we have some questions for you, okay? I first want to ask you, did you train for Amazing Race? And what was what was your strengths? What was your weaknesses? What are things you guys had to work on?
I think the biggest question is, did you guys train?
Yeah.
That's the biggest question because honestly, our training just consisted of watching Amazing Race and being like, facts. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
like we watch someone win, and be like, right, I could do that, 100%.
We kind of went into it like that, and we also like kind of just knew like knowing us a lot of things in our life, a lot of things that we do like van life and stuff, like we make last minute decisions. It's like 2 days before we get our shit together, so we kind of did like the same process here. We were like, all right, we have 2 days,
Let's figure it out.
let's figure it out. And then we one thing led to another. We were up the race and we were like, uh-oh.
We bought gloves at Home Depot. We did that, but then we showed up and everyone had a compass in their hand. Like, why that? You have a compass? Like,
We didn't know which way was north or south.
yeah. Why
We were
would
like,
I think that I could bring
it
that?
said no navigating things to help you, so we didn't think of a compass.
And
but
then
whatever.
like I use the shoes from Big Brother that had like holes in them, and I don't know. I think it was just we Megan had just started her job when casting started, so she was super busy, and we also work a lot, and I was super busy with like brand stuff, so it was just trying our best and juggling while in sequester in the hotel room.
Juggling apples.
Yep.
Wait, is that what you guys did in sequester?
Yeah,
whole time
the
we were
whole time we
juggling
were just
apples.
juggling apples.
Yeah.
Seeing how much
But we
we
were
could
good.
juggle.
We were good at juggling apples.
Why did I think that was a code word for something? But no, you guys
No,
actually
just
just
yeah.
juggled apples.
That would be a great code word for doing something, actually.
Juggling apples. Okay, well, what did you guys think were your strengths and your weaknesses going into the race, especially stacked against the other teams who you saw?
I think our strength was definitely just like our personalities. I feel like we
Yeah.
kind of get along with everybody, so I felt like no one would want to pick fights with us or do any or U-turn us or anything like that. So I felt like going into it, we had a pretty strong mindset of like the teams won't take it too hard on us. I don't
Yeah,
think.
and more importantly, I think our relationship with each other was our strength. Like there was never a point where we were mad at each other, even if one of us was like fumbling. Because in that flower competition where I was taking like just under 6 hours to do it, I was like, oh my God, Megan, I hope is not pissed at me when I get out. And then I got out, she's like, yeah, good job. Let's go to the next thing. I was like, thank God she's not pissed off. And same with like, I don't know. I think we both had those moments where it's just like, oh, I hope the other person, I'm not letting them down. And there was
And
never a point where we argued.
I think our weakness was just the navigating straight up. Like
Yeah,
that
and
was just the hardest part.
and even in moments of great navigation, we were just led to the wrong place. We only got out because someone told us the wrong address and we made it to the wrong one, but it just
It
wasn't
costed
right.
us
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
and we weren't able to finish, unfortunately.
Let me ask you this. Overall, like it kind of sounds like you kind of went a little bit in what your strategy is. So I want to ask you guys, like, what were teams that you wanted to work with? Like what were your plans going with that? When you saw the teams, like who were you like, okay, this is what we're working with and this is what we're doing.
I think
And
in
were there any teams where you were like, no, they have to go sooner rather than later?
Definitely Simone and Hannah for that one. I'm just kidding.
That's so crazy.
No, but
Hey, this
and
podcast is over.
yeah, yeah. I mean, ideally, we wanted to work with anyone who we could, but like Joseph was number one. He was at our wedding. We love the guy. He's one of my best friends. And so Joseph, Taylor, and Kylan would have been great, and Jag and Jazz would have been great.
I
I'm
mean,
sure everyone says Jag
Hannah
and
and
Jazz, but
Simone,
Hannah and
obviously. I
Simone, we
would have
would have
loved
loved
to
to
like have
work
some
with.
girl power in there.
Yeah. And I mean, like, we love everyone. There's no one on, like, even the cast now is so close. There's no one I wouldn't have wanted to work with because I think of every name and I'm like, yeah, it would have been great to work with Izzy or it would have been,
That's the thing
yeah,
about the season is just like it was such a great cast of people. So I feel like everyone kind of got along and everyone's personalities kind of meshed and it was just the best possible reality TV show.
yeah. And I'm sure
ever.
if you, Hannah, do you watch Big Brother now, like, as it airs?
I
Yeah.
do.
So like seeing some people, I was like, oh, I just feel like a fan of this person. Like I'm honored that I'm here with like Tucker. I loved
Yeah, that
Tucker
was
on a season.
crazy.
So just like hanging out with him, I was like, dude, I'm hanging out with Tucker. Or Angela, even.
Angela, right?
Dude, what is happening?
That
Like
was
I'm
insane.
running the race with Angela, and we're also like friends now. So I was
Yeah.
honored to be asked to do the show.
I love that answer. Also, Enzo was my favorite Big Brother player of all time.
Oh
So when I
wow.
saw him, I couldn't actually speak, and I'm hardly if ever speechless.
I
So
totally agree with you. I was such a fan of him. And for him to call us the Scooby-Doo pack, I was like,
Yeah,
oh, I'm
yeah.
so honored. I'm so honored.
Honestly, yeah. And then he followed me on Instagram that same day. So I was like, all right, he knows who I am now at least.
he's like, "What's that guy? Oh yeah, Scooby Doo, Scooby.
Yeah, yeah.
What's happening?"
Another question you know, obviously we have is how did you end up driving all the way back from, I'm gonna say this wrong. I hate that Hannah wrote these questions. Like,
It's
what is this?
from Prague
Yeah,
to
to
actually
from
no.
Pantatona. What the Pantatona Hona after the roadblock? Like what?
Close.
What is that?
Punta Ora.
Punta Ora.
Yeah, how did y'all end up like driving all the way back from there?
So do you mean like when we had
Yeah,
left or like okay,
how
yeah,
did
After
so
the
what
roadblock.
yeah,
yeah,
how
so
did you guys get lost?
yeah, after
Essentially.
that, I truly did great on that competition. We got there when Alex was there for quite a while and then left. I mean, I finished before Alex. I just couldn't find the guy to check the beer. I had no idea where that guy was. To be fair, he was behind a wall that I couldn't see. So I give myself credit there. But we left. We asked someone for directions. We were like, hey, can you plug this in? It's on the roadblock. Just type this in. He types it in, he clicks on something, and then he's like, all right, here it is. We start writing notes. And we end up at an IKEA on the border of the Czech
I think
Republic.
it was definitely a something where he was like, let's get these people out of my face as fast as possible.
Genuinely. He was like the first thing that it,
So,
yeah.
but then we were just like, yes, this has to be right. Let's just take
Yeah.
it and run with it.
Because like, why would we assume that it wasn't? Like, we saw him type something in. We saw us say, "Hey, can you put this in?" He's like, "Yeah, of course." And he was a nice guy. So
It was our biggest downfall is literally all the directions we got were just like
wrong every
Nope.
time. We never got directions that were correct, which is
Yeah.
crazy.
And we didn't have any other teams to like follow or get directions with, which was hard because we were in the back of the pack. We were all by ourselves. So like we see all these other teams like on bikes and stuff in Amsterdam, like following each other in a row. And I'm like,
Also, going into the race, I didn't know you start relative to when you end compared to the other teams. So it's like, yeah, all right, Jag starts at 9 a.m. on one day, and we're starting at 7 p.m. Yeah, I hope I catch up. 9 hours? When are we catching up to that? That doesn't even make sense. So yeah,
Impossible.
Okay, well, my question is because from what I remember, it was maybe like a 10-minute drive to get from the roadblock to like the field where you had to plow your partner.
yeah.
Do you guys remember how long your direction said it would take? I'm just
like
curious.
it was like 90 minutes.
No way.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I mean, we had done
It
longer
was
drives
over
than
an hour.
that.
And we're like, okay, this makes sense.
Like relative to other drives, 90 minutes isn't that bad. Like we drove 90 minutes almost to get there. So I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, no, this is true. Wow.
Like we were on a train for 12 hours, so 90 minutes didn't really actually seem like much.
Yeah, you were like, this is light work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. At that point, and we made it back pretty well too. When we got the directions, at that, like we got to the IKEA and we're like, no way they're sending us here because this is not a farm,
The
obviously.
guy was like, back the way you
Yeah,
came.
we asked for directions there, and he's like, "Yeah, you're gonna want to go 90 minutes that way." And we're like, "That's where we were." He's like, "Yeah, near Kunta Ora." We're like, "What? Like, how is that possible?" And so then we just drove right back, and then it was too late.
Sightseeing, honestly.
Yeah, because then
Great.
we got back literally when Alex and Kat finished, so Phil was there.
Dang. Okay, well, it was essentially like a tour of the Czech Republic, and I love
Literally,
that for
yeah.
you too.
That's
And
what Phil said. He's like, "Yeah, we saw you on the tracker, just taking a tour of Czech Republic."
Like, yeah, it's our honeymoon.
Yeah, exactly.
oh my gosh. A couple more questions just to kind of wrap up your guys' journey on the Amazing Race. So what was the hardest thing about the competition besides the navigation? Like, are there any moments that stick out to you?
I mean, I think it's definitely the flower competition. I briefly went over it in an interview or two ago, but I am colorblind. I am like when it was like who's feeling fresh as a daisy, there was no
I was
indication that
not
I'm
feeling
gonna.
fresh or like a
There's
daisy, so I was sitting out.
like I didn't think of it at all. Like in the moment, it's like, okay, well, I'm probably gonna have to like color match in the pitch black dark when I can't even see color as is. I mean, I can obviously see color, but nevertheless, it's like taking minute details from one color to another. I genuinely can't do as it is.
At the end
So,
of it, he was just guessing.
so
And then he
that,
happened to guess right.
yeah.
And we were like, oh, wow, we're still in this thing.
But I was guessing for genuinely, if it took me just under 6 hours to do, probably 3 of those hours was just me hoping for the best. Because genuinely, I couldn't tell the difference between 90% of them. It's like, oh yeah, this yellow, and even on the episode, they're showing the yellows. I'm like, that is the exact same thing. And so for me to do that in the dark colorblind couldn't happen. So the
Yeah.
fact that I did that and wasn't eliminated that night was good enough for me.
What about you, Megan?
What was the question?
What was the hardest?
I mean, the hardest was just sitting on that ground for 4.5 hours because it was like 30-degree weather. It was so cold. And then they end up opening up the whole door and like have flower deliveries while I'm still standing there. And I was freezing. So that was probably like the most low I had on the race. But other than that, I think we just snapped out of it and we were like, wow, we're alive. Let's just keep going and have fun with it.
Yeah, like I think the proudest moment I had was that it really, I mean, we have a great relationship, but there's never a time where we're under that much pressure, like $1 million of pressure. And so that we never erupted at each other. We were never mad at each other. We were
We handled each
perfectly
other
cool
with
with one
grace.
another the whole time. We didn't even raise our voice or were mad at each other. In the hotel room after every day, we were just like, all right, well, we tried our best and that's all we can do. So let's just try our best tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
I love that. You guys truly do have the best attitude, and that was absolutely reflected on the show. I think everyone could be more like the Turners. And I think that kind of leads us into our next question. What was your guys' favorite memory from this season of filming The Amazing Race?
That's a great
I
question.
really loved being on the tandem bike with you, like doing that first little activity of like, like running around and just like looking at all of the different sites and the water and everything. I feel like that was just a really fun moment because we were together and we were just having fun, aimlessly driving wherever we
Yeah,
could
there
go.
were some stressful moments in that bike ride.
Oh, because
'cause
I wasn't paying attention.
Megan wasn't paying attention, and like I obviously say this with love. It was funny in the moment, and we joked about it. But I was like, all right,
It's because I was having so much fun.
I knew exactly where to go on the bikes, and so I was like, Megan, hey, we're going back. Do we take a right or left? She'd be like, left. I'm like, Megan, no, it's a right. So every time, and then whatever. I thought it was a funny
This
moment.
place is just so
Yeah,
much.
I know that was the energy. I was like, oh, please. But then also like when we met up with Angela, Kat, and Taylor when we had thought we were so far in last place on the train. I think that was a great moment.
Yeah, that was one of our favorites too.
And then also like just there's truly an art form to being in the last place every time and just making it, and especially for like with the last competition with Alex, like getting it first and then getting out. I mean, the other times were a little bit different because Angela had won that crest comp before us. We caught up and won. Like we were so close with Enzo. And so I think it was just like there couldn't have been more pressure every single episode. And we just translated that into having a fun time.
Thank you so much. And I think we're going to end this interview with one last question. And what is one thing that you guys learned about yourselves as individuals and yourselves as a relationship that you will continue to carry?
Oh, that's
That's
such
such a
a
great
great
question. Yeah,
question.
you ate with that one, Hannah. So I think that I learned about us as a relationship. I think it just was reinforcing what I think I already knew, which was that I'm with the person I'm supposed to be with for the rest of my life. I mean, obviously, I probably know when we were getting married. That's what that is. But it was just like, if there's literally no one else on planet Earth that I could have ran that race with and not been like just so insanely annoyed at the whole time. And I never had that feeling with you. And so I think it reinforces like, yeah, this is the one person that you are meant to be with for life. And then about myself, if that was what you asked, was just that like, I think I do good under pressure. I don't, in a sense that I'm not going to blow up on anybody. I could have obviously done better at these comps, but I think when I have that much pressure on, because either it's getting out right now or finishing this competition, I think I do well as I could do for being in the back of the pack.
I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. I feel like one thing I did learn about our relationship is that like we have this unconditional love for each other where it's like no matter what happens, at the end of the day, we'll come back to each other and everything will be okay. So I feel like I kind of just like learned that no matter what, our relationship is strong. And also about myself, I just feel like as well, I was able to stay calm in high pressure situations, even though I was, just sitting there on the ground. But I do have a lot of anxiety, but I feel like that kind of was pushed to the side and I was able to accomplish that and, jump over that hurdle.
And then
So that was good.
getting off the race, I know I sound like a broken record, but just the fitness journey I've been on, it just taught me that I need to be in shape for if I ever get on another show, and for myself that I need to change my entire life and lifestyle. So obviously look a lot different. I mean, from the hair, of course, but just that my whole perspective on myself changed after that, and it was that I need to be healthier. So that is a good thing that came out of the race.
Well, both Derek and I are very proud of you both. We're very proud of you, Turner, for being committed to your health. And if the Amazing Race calls you guys back for All Stars, do you go?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. When
Yeah.
when we get that call,
Yeah.
we'll,
That will be
but
amazing.
That
if
call's coming. Make
yeah,
sure
and
you.
if I get a call for another show, I will definitely say yes because I don't think they're calling my ass back for Amazing.
You never know. You better keep that line open.
No, I saw Bill. I mean,
I think that. Never mind. Never mind. I was going to talk about it,
okay.
but let me not do that. Okay. Derek, do you have any other questions for the Turners?
I don't have anything else. I just want to tell you guys did amazing. I'm so proud of you guys. Turner, you look amazing. Megan, you look amazing. And just, I'm so proud of you guys. This has been such a great season to watch. And, I love seeing all my Big Brother family. So keep up the good work. And thank you guys for sitting with us and just answering these questions. So thank you.
Thanks.
When I
Yeah,
love
Thank
you
we
you.
guys,
We love you
I
guys
love
you
so
you.
guys
much.
you guys know that we're your biggest fans, and also Derek, I talk to you a lot, and we talk to you, Hannah, a lot. So we'll be in touch as we have been. But
Yes.
no, we love you guys.
Thank you.
No, we love you guys too. Simone and I were so happy when we walked into that one room and we saw you guys there. We were like, oh my gosh, Turner, whatever, but Megan Belmonte.
It's so fun.
So
Live
excited.
in the flesh. Never
Yes,
again.
she's real. No,
Yes.
it was super exciting to run the race with you guys. I'm so very proud of you. Simone sends her love as well, and we will be in touch soon
All
for
right,
All
love
Stars.
you guys.
Bye. So, Kishori, before we get into this season, can you give us some updates in your life? It's my understanding that you guys filmed a long time ago. So, what have you been up to since the race?
Oh my gosh, so many things. So we actually filmed in October of 2022. Now we're in October of
Wow.
2025. So years have flown by. I was 24 when I filmed the show, and now I'm 27. I'm a vice president of marketing at a bank in New York. So that's been really busy. I'm on our wealth marketing division. But yeah, living life here has been great. I've been in the city for about 2 years. I previously was in LA, grew up in the Maryland, DC area. But no complaints. I just cannot believe it's been 3 years. Time flies.
That is wild. And then you model as well, right?
Yes, I model on the side every so often. Not as much anymore, but just
Mm.
for fun. Yeah.
Because she's
That's
beautiful, guys. In person,
yes,
her and her cousin.
stunning.
Well, no, on screen, you guys were gorgeous. But in person, I was like, how are you guys
Oh my
real?
gosh, likewise. I
Yes.
met you at it was the Bryson Wendell party in DC. And I was like, "Oh my God." And the show had not been announced yet, but I was like, fangirling.
No, okay, that was so funny because I knew that like spoilers had come out on
Yeah,
Twitter, but
yeah.
I thought it was only like Big Brother Twitter who was aware that Simone and I were going to be on. So I was introducing myself to like all of the past racers as James and Will's friend from LA. Like that's how I was just introducing myself. And then come to find out, you guys all knew. So and I knew that you knew because we had a conversation about it, but I just wasn't aware that everyone else knew too. So I was like,
Word
oh.
spreads fast.
Yeah.
Okay, I learned that. And I have to ask you
Yeah.
something else because Simone and I are huge Bravo fans.
Okay.
And
Yes, I was gonna ask that
yeah,
too.
okay. Great minds think alike. Simone, why don't you ask it?
I was sure. Is it about Carl? Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw that you're friends with Carl from Summer
Oh,
House. We
so
love Summer
funny.
House.
He's great. He is one of our friends in our like friend group in New York City. So we've gone to a couple things together, like music festivals. And then I was just at his soft bar opening in Brooklyn. But he's great. He's super sweet.
How was the opening? We're rooting for him
It's
and the
awesome. I
success of
feel like
Soft
there's
Bar.
no non-alcoholic like cafes and places. So I think it's just such a nice space for people that are like-minded that can come together. And it's also a coffee shop too. So you kind of get the
Hmm.
best of both worlds. And he has like a podcast studio upstairs that you can rent out. So it's a pretty sick venue. Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't aware that it was a coffee shop, but I feel like that is a really good idea.
Yeah. So he has like non-alcoholic drinks and then also coffee, which is pretty cool.
Okay, good. We're
Nice.
rooting
Go
for
Carl.
we love Summer House. You've also met Amanda, right?
Yes, but I don't really know her super well. No,
Oh, okay.
I only met her once. Yeah, once or twice. Yeah, but she's great. She's very sweet.
Oh my gosh. Again, Simone and I
I
love,
feel like the reality
Yes.
worlds are all like intertwined and interconnected. Like you were bound to meet
yes.
someone through like another show.
Yes.
You know?
Oh, for sure. Well, does that mean that we will see you on this season of Summer House? Do you make
No.
a trip out to the Hamptons as
No,
well?
no, 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 no.
No?
So many people have asked me that because I guess they saw our like friend group with Carl and like that squad a lot this summer. But no, I am not on Summer House.
Well, but you know how sometimes they'll like invite big groups of people to the house?
Yeah, no,
For,
I
For like a
didn't.
party.
I didn't go to any of
oh,
them.
Uh,
No.
oh,
would that be something that you'd be open to in the future?
Probably not. Like I support it, but I don't think I would do it. Yeah.
Fair.
that's fair. That's fair. We just have to get to see. You heard it here first, you guys, because
Yes.
will not be on the next
Exclusive.
season of Summer House. Well, I guess bringing it back to The Amazing Race, because that is,
Yes.
in fact, why we're here, and not to talk about Carl and Summer House. Kishori, have you been watching this season?
I have. Actually, I was watching episode 3 this morning before our podcast. I was like, I gotta catch up on episode 3. But it's been really good. I feel like I will say my opinion is because you guys all know each other and there's like pre-existing relationships, I feel like there's not as much cutthroat energy. I feel like everyone's being very sweet, which is not a bad thing, but I feel like we need a little more spiciness. And I'm hoping that we get a little feisty the rest of the season, you know?
That's a common critique I've seen of the. Oh my gosh, not the horn in the back. I'm sorry, guys.
It's a
I'm
critique. I
outside
don't
right
think
now.
it's a bad thing. I think this is good because you guys have baseline relationships, which is also foundational for like alliances. Like you see that with what is the alliance? The Trainwreck Alliance with the top 3 teams. Like
Yeah.
clearly buddy, because they know each other, right? So it's not a bad thing, but when you don't know people, you're more like competitive and you don't have any of those biases or anything about people.
I agree. I think as a viewer, I would be a little frustrated too, especially because the show hasn't really unpacked the history of said relationships. And so you're just watching a bunch of people be lovey-dovey on screen, but you don't necessarily understand the context as to why.
Yeah.
But I like watching these shows for more cutthroat strategy, more like crab in a bucket type energy, and this is not giving that yet, but just keep watching. Keep watching.
I'm excited. Also, I have to say, I was so impressed with your language skills in episode 2. I was like, what is this, you guys?
Yes.
Back to your directions. I was like, wow, okay, go girls.
Yes. And then she also whipped some out in episode 3 when
Oh,
she
I
said
know.
thank you to the beer master. She said Yoko you.
The thing about it is, in the Czech Republic, you obviously have all these different dialects,
Yeah.
and I think the limited Czech that we learned for episode 2 when we were running in Prague, that didn't necessarily translate to Kutna Hora because we were in like the very rural countryside of the Czech Republic. And so that required some recalibration. I remember having to ask people like, okay, so how do you say this differently? How do you, I want to make sure I get the dialect correct. But it was fun. Like, when else are you going to be in the Czech Republic getting to learn some of their language?
Yeah,
So we took advantage of that.
crushed it.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, well, I guess what are some moments that have maybe stood out to you? Who are some teams that you think are doing really well? Who are some teams where you're starting to see some cracks?
Okay, that's a good question. So, well, I will say I think you guys are doing well because you're staying middle, but also you guys are very calm, cool, and collected. Like I haven't really seen any sisterly bickering, which Karishma and I had a couple of those moments.
Yeah.
But I feel like staying very level-headed is super important in the race. I think you guys are also very detail-oriented and type A and good at memory. That is, I think, the most important skill in the race. So I think the teams that are doing that in my opinion, that have been like pretty steady. Obviously, Jazz and Jag are like crushing it. I think Izzy and Paige are also like kind of like not I want to say underdogs, but they're kind of like you don't expect it, but they're doing really well, and I'm like really impressed. I'm like, okay, let's go, come on. And then I will say like who else? I think some of the teams that are bickering a little bit are making me a little nervous, just because not nervous, but a little. I don't know how it's going to work out. And then I think directions are also a key part. I think it was Chelsea and her dad were struggling a little bit with directions. Directions are very hard. So you know what? I'm going to give everyone grace here because it is very challenging to direct in a country where you don't speak the native language and you don't have Google Maps, you don't have your phone. It is very, very difficult. So just getting there is, you should be proud of yourself. But I think the teams that have that natural ability with memory and directions are going to thrive.
And are there any teams this season that remind you of teams from your season?
Oh, that's a great question. Huh. I don't think so. I feel like you guys are like a unique bunch. Yeah, I feel like you guys remind me of us, like a little bit, which is sweet. But I think everyone else kind of has like unique personalities. I feel like some of the couples sometimes are, have the same mentality where like they get upset with each other. Like I think about like Derek and Shalisa, or like who else? Why am I blanking? Vinny and Amber.
Rod and Chi-Chi.
Yeah, Rod and Chi-Chi, Vinny and Amber. Where
We
you
love that.
love each other. Everyone loves each other, but you have these moments where you're just like.
Yes. I think Chelsea and her dad. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
What were you going to say about Chelsea and her dad?
I'm so sorry. What was the last thing you said? Because you cut out for me a little.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, everyone has their own unique personality. I don't even think I want to compare anyone because I think they're like their own individuals,
Mhm.
I think that's totally fair.
Fair.
But I do feel like Chelsea and her dad remind me a little of Derek and Shalissa, just a little. And I
I
know
could see that too.
Yeah.
same dynamics. You obviously have father and daughter, and you have married couple, but Chelsea constantly being like, "Dad, Dad," and the dad being like,
Yeah, you know what? That is fair because Shalisa was cracking me up throughout the season. Like, first of all, I love them. When I lived in LA, they were some of my closest friends. Like, first of all, they invited me over to their house. I'd have like a sleepover. I was like their daughter. She'd make me breakfast
Wait,
in
that's
the
so
morning. I
sweet.
love Derek and Shalisa, okay? But Shalisa is so funny because they have such a tight knit bond. They have such a good relationship, but she's just so funny because she'll like make these little comments at him and he's just like, whatever. Like, he just like brushes it off. But yeah, I could see how they're similar in that sense.
Yes. Oh, wait, Hannah Banana. Well, speaking of Kishori, your season, we should tell her about the twins. Okay,
Okay.
so
Yes.
when we were, well, Hannah and I love the twins,
Anthony Bailey?
Anthony and Bailey.
Yes.
Yes, and so
That's so funny.
whenever we would be watching the show, like to prepare, since as Hannah mentioned, that was our first season, like going back to review and studying for the race.
Yeah.
Um, Our parents were like, our parents are obviously very, very supportive. And so when preparing for the race, they were with us every step of the way. And they were also studying with us.
That's so
Um,
sweet.
and so they would always be like, as episode, make sure that you don't do it like the twins and you pick a detour and you stay there so then you don't
They
waste time. But they also love the twins. Like all four of us, Hannah, me, my parents, we just got such a kick out of them. And so we always make references to the twins.
First of all, they have like the most positive energy and they're just like
Yes.
so, I don't know, they're so funny. But I specifically remember that morning because we departed at the same time to climb the mountain in Guatape. And
Mhm.
they literally, as we were jogging up the mountain, there were like vendors, like little street vendors. He's like, you know what? I think I might want to stop and like buy some sunglasses. And I was like, no, like we're literally racing.
That
Oh
is
my
too
goodness.
good.
They switched the detour. I think was it 3 or 4 times? 4 times. They went back forth, back forth. I was like, you guys are nuts.
I just the lack of urgency that
No,
some
zero
teams tend to
urgency.
show is crazy to me. You're racing for $1 million. And did you and Karishma feel like you were running on adrenaline, pure
Yeah.
adrenaline? You weren't thinking about how hungry you were, how tired you were, how cold you were, how thirsty you were, let alone fridge magnets, ice cream, and little trinkets on the side of the street. I'm so confused.
I will say, Krish and I, we are both like very competitive. Like
Mhm.
we are go, go, go mentality. And I think that was just like a power dynamic in itself. Like I just knew
Mhm.
she would be like my go-to person. But yeah, we barely ate. I think when I would wake up, whatever our call time was, I'd wake up like 5 in the morning. I would
Mhm.
force myself because you're not hungry at 5 in the morning. We'd have dinner at midnight. I was
Yeah.
like, I ate like 5 hours ago. So I eat like whatever it was, like oatmeal or something in the morning to like keep myself somewhat full throughout the day. That is like your only meal. We were not
Right.
eating. We'd be like, I mean, we're racing. We didn't even have water. Like you barely are consuming anything, and then let alone you're not even going to the bathroom. You don't have time to pee. Like
Mhm.
there was one leg of the race where I had to pee so badly, and I was like, well, I'm not peeing for hours. Like it is what it is.
Yeah.
There's
You'd get home, and then once you finish your leg of the race, you're then sent to interviews. And then in interviews, might be an hour, might be 2 hours, you're waiting for your turn. Then you finally get sent back, and then you can eat. And sometimes it's like midnight. Sometimes it's really late,
Yeah.
you know?
No, a lot of us, I would say, a good chunk of us lost quite a bit of weight.
Yeah. I mean, I think
Yeah,
I lost a couple pounds, and like, I'd get back at midnight, and I was like, oh my God, like, I need like 2 meals. I was starving. You're so
Yeah.
hungry. So hungry.
yes. But you're just, again, not thinking about it because you're so go, go,
Yes.
go.
Go, go, go.
But I did want to get into your dynamic with Karishma
Yeah.
because you guys obviously have a very tight relationship. You guys are cousins. You're relatively close in age, but it did seem as though you guys have two completely different personalities.
Very
She's very
different.
spirited. You're a little more type A. She's perhaps veering towards the type B side, or as my roommates call it, type Z. So, is that how you would describe your relationship?
I would describe it like that. So Karishma is definitely more like adventure junkie. She's a little more like go with the flow. She's creative. She's out there. I feel like I'm more type A, like good memory. Like I need everything a little more meticulous.
Mhm.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I feel like we balanced each other out a little bit on the race, but obviously there are moments where when you pick wrong, it does affect you, right? So
Mhm.
if she ends up getting something where I may be better at, I'm like, shoot, or if I get something that she could have done that's like, like outdoorsy or like jumping out of a plane or scuba diving, that, like
Yeah.
that's where it kind of screws you a little bit. But again, it's the race. You don't know what you don't know. Um, but I think as a whole, I was really proud of us. Like she did such a good job driving. She learned stick shift. It was like not easy at all. I mean, I learned directions. Like it's the race. People don't realize when you're watching on TV just how hard it is. You see a snippet of the entire day. You could be at a challenge for literally hours upon hours, and viewers would never ever know that because it's cut into like a 2-minute segment, and you don't realize how complex it actually was. The drive could have been 2 hours long, but it's shown as maybe it's a 5-minute drive. So
Right.
there's a lot of details to it. And even like how many times you stop to get directions. Like we stopped a couple times, we got turned up, but you don't always see that, you know? So
100%.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that's another similarity that Simone and I saw in you two because I'm the eldest. I'm a bit more meticulous. I need things to be in a certain order. I'm a
older
bit more.
child syndrome, you know, it's just like the eldest daughter.
Exactly. I'm a bit more of a control freak, and that is something that I wanted to work on. And Simone definitely helped me work through that. Just,
Aw.
the courage to accept the things you cannot change. And Simone, on the flip
Yeah.
side, she's the creative one. She's the free spirited one. She's very comfortable going with the flow. And so
Yeah.
we were able to kind of find our rhythm and I think teach each other things along the way. And, we didn't
Yeah.
argue or fight or bicker once. Like,
No,
there
I
was
love
zero.
that. I love that.
Yeah,
I
we
don't think we
didn't.
really bickered either. I feel like we still stayed pretty calm, like sister energy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's just at the end of the day, like this is such a fun experience, and you're doing it with someone you love, you
100%.
know?
And I think that's another great point that you bring up. Just the fact that editing really does
Yeah.
condense everything because you have to show 13 teams and their 7, 8 hour journeys throughout, that specific leg. And you have to condense that into an hour and a half episode. And I think the race recently became an hour and a half. Like before, episodes used to be an hour, so they showed even less of you guys. I will say it does make us look very smart on TV because it's not showing how much we struggled, but as a viewer, you're looking at it like, I could do that. I could do that. This is so easy. How are they messing up here? But I will say the amazing Big Brother was hard in its own way. I think mentally and emotionally because it's so long,
Yeah.
it was very difficult to transition out of that. And also like the constant mind games, I think that takes a while to break too. But in terms of in the moment, from minute to minute, The Amazing Race is hands down the hardest thing I have ever done in my life.
It is
If I
crazy.
It's
so
really
hard
hard.
to the point where medical school is a piece of cake. I kid you not. If
No,
the
I
Amazing
understand it.
Seven
It's,
and
I
a
mean,
half,
I feel like you
yeah.
don't understand it until you truly live it. But oh my God, like even just like my muscles, I remember coming back and I was like, I
Yeah.
am so sore. And then you're running miles the next day, like miles the next day. I feel like you're running like half marathons every day. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yes, but I mean, Simone, isn't it pretty cool that we can like, regardless of how hard it was, we can say like, we did it. And
Oh, 100%.
the last 2 legs, we've been in top 5. Hello, so we're not doing
Yeah.
a job.
Crushing it. Like I am so impressed. First of all, did not doubt one bit at all. I knew you guys were gonna crush it. Also, like
Oh.
episode 1, you were like, yeah, I went to like a gifted school, and I was like, oh my God, these smart girls are gonna just demolish.
Aw.
Thank you.
So sweet.
Okay, well, Kishori, I have another question for you about your season because again, we love season 36.
Yeah, I feel like I have so many questions as well.
Right. Okay, Simone, I will let you jump in then because I've been
Oh,
doing
no,
it.
you went first. Or with you having questions.
Okay, well, I was just gonna say, what was your favorite challenge? And my very last question for you before I let Simone take the reins is, how do you feel like the race brought you and Karishma closer?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I actually lived with Karishma's family my freshman year of high school in Dallas, Texas. So that's honestly where our sister bond began because she was in middle school at the time. I think she was in 6th grade. And I literally taught her how to shave her legs. She would like steal my makeup. And so
Aw.
that's kind of where the bond began. But then I went back to Maryland. I was in college and we didn't see each other as often. It was more so on family vacations or one-offs. But literally, it was as if nothing changed. And we had that one-on-one time together again. I was like, oh my God, this is my little sister. So it was just very
Aw.
sweet. And I didn't grow up with siblings. I have a half brother, but he's 10. He's so cute, but I didn't grow up with him, right? So Karishma was really like that little sister that I always wanted, which was just like special. But favorite leg of the race, I would say this wasn't even a roadblock or a detour, but I loved in Medellin we went paragliding. That was just
Oh, yeah.
unbelievable experience. Like truly, I don't think I've ever seen something so beautiful and breathtaking. And I just felt this sense of peace and calm in my heart because on the race, you don't really have a moment to kind of just like stop and take it in. Like as much as you try to stop and take it in, you're just so like flustered, go, go, go. And so in that moment, I was like, okay, this is sick. You are seeing a part of the world you've not seen before. And like you're on a freaking television show, your childhood dream. So that was really cool. That was really special. And then I think the cooking challenge was hysterical because she's vegetarian and we actually did a pretty good job. I thought that was so funny. I cooked all the meat and I cooked it correctly.
Yes. And it was the plantain.
So funny. Like I think that's
That's
hysterical.
so funny. You were like, we can't even try this. Is this okay? Is this how it's supposed
And you're like, it was the plantains that we
like the
under.
one vegetarian item on the plate, plantain, was the one that I didn't like, I guess, fry enough or cook enough. So funny.
Oh my, but I mean, at least you had Anthony and Bailey back and forth.
Exactly.
Stove. Oh my God. That's the fact that Anthony and Bailey have become synonymous in our house for like,
They're hysterical.
don't do that.
Yeah.
No.
Oh my
That
God.
is too
Do
good.
you have any questions for Kishori about her season? And I'm sure we'll have more as this episode goes on because things will probably kind of remind us of 36. But
Exactly. Well, I would love to know, like, speaking of all of these teams, who are you still in touch with?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, honestly, I'm in touch with everyone. So we have a group chat on Instagram
Aw,
that we still keep in touch with and like text. So I feel like it's pretty
so
regularly
cute.
that we're like chatting or like sending photos where we're with each other. Ricky and Cesar are like some of my dearest, closest besties in New York. I love them for
Icons.
them. We hang out all the time. And it's so funny because I remember before the race had started, you're put in a room. I don't know if you remember that room where they're going over the rules and the policies of the show and like what you can't do and what you can do. And they were sitting in front of us. And like, you know, Krishna and I were kind of sussing out the room and like, who we're going to work with. And you're kind of,
Sizing
like,
up the
gauging,
competition.
like, all the different teams. And I was like, no, like, I don't think we're going to work with them. They smoked us. I didn't even see them once the entire season because they were constantly in front of the pack. And it's like a joke to this day because now they're like such close friends. But I see them just because of proximity. I like love them. I would say Derek and Shalisa when I lived in LA, like I adore them. We are very, very close to this day. They always say like we are their honorary daughters. So just like a very special bond. But honestly, all the
That's
teams,
so
like,
sweet.
I have so much love and care and respect for. Like we all went to Amber and Vinny's wedding last year, which was so fun in Cabo.
Aww.
Like pretty much,
Oh, back to Mexico.
yeah, pretty much all the teams came for that, which was awesome. But yeah, love them all.
Aw, okay,
well,
wait, that's so
congratulations to
sweet.
Amber and Vinny.
Yes. And also shout out to Ricky and Cesar, of course.
Yes.
They're so cute. Oh my God.
So
Wait, and one of our favorite moments of your guys' season was during the dance
Yeah.
challenge. Like half the team sang, half the teams danced, and Ricky and Cesar put on this show.
Oh, they were
It was
performing.
so good. They were doing kicks
And
and
talents, like it is so hysterical to me because like I feel like every single day I learn some new thing. I mean, we saw it on the show. They were like, "Oh, we can do X, we can do Y." I was a mascot and I did theater and I sing and I dance and my dad was a welder. Like I don't even know. Like all
the
sorts of
welder
random
though. Everybody's dad was a welder or uncle was a welder or
What?
something.
I'm like, why did none of mine come out? I grew up competitively swimming. I did theater too, but we didn't even get far enough for any of those challenges. But
Oh.
You would have missed them nevertheless, but
Exactly.
that's a good question. Okay, so
Yes.
should we get into episode 3? Yeah, this is episode 3.
yeah.
Okay, so Simone and I think what we like to do is we kind of like to shed light on our own experience because we can't really talk about behind the scenes of everyone else. But we'll also sort of recap what you and I and all of America saw in week 3's episode. So we start out at the pit stop of the previous leg. It's called Zophine's Palace in Prague. It's like right off of the Charles Bridge. Beautiful, beautiful venue. And Simone and I are in 5th place. We're perhaps less than 10 minutes apart from Tucker and Eric. Because like when we completed leg 2, Tucker and Eric, they were 4th, we were 5th. They were off to the side. That's how close we were. So we saw Tucker and Eric like ask for directions, and that's when we were like about to start the third leg. So we see that we're going to the Silver City, and we were like, "Ooh, what is
Ooh.
that? Like, are we gonna be wearing jewelry? Are we gonna be making jewelry? I don't know."
Yeah.
Simone, what did you think when you saw we're going to the Silver City?
Yes, I was thinking the same thing. Definitely, maybe even involving like mining almost, like fishing for silver in some sort of way, like digging it up, or something involving minerals, or just like you were saying, yeah, maybe something involving like jewelry. Um, Definitely, like we were excited though.
Very excited. And another thing that I was thinking, because it's a very historic city, it's been around for centuries. I was thinking, okay, will there be maybe another memory component, a history challenge, an art challenge?
Right.
And anything that's mental, I think it's safe to say it excites me, it excites
Yeah.
Simone. I am fully confident that if you give us a mental or a memory challenge, we could probably beat every single one of those teams
I'm
there.
so sad. I wanted a memory and puzzle challenge so badly. I love a puzzle
Yes.
memory challenge.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh. Well, so please also, Kishori, walk us through. I know that they showcase like what you were feeling in the moment, but we want to hear from your perspective directly. When in Argentina, I think it was, when Karishma ended up doing the memory challenge based on what you guys thought the clue was, what immediately was your gut feeling when
Oh
you
my
found out
God.
that it would be a memory
I think
challenge?
that was it in, I think we were in Colombia. This was the map memory challenge,
Oh,
like the
Colombia.
map one.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it was funny too because the taxi ride there, it was after the dance challenge. Remember the dance, the breakdancing
Mhm.
challenge? The
Oh,
taxi ride
yes.
from the breakdancing challenge to the plaza was about an hour and 20 minutes. It was a long taxi ride. And Krishna was actually super dizzy in the car. And I'm like, we
No.
don't really show that, but I literally had like a fan on. I was like fanning her, we are getting her water, and she was super dizzy. And I remember when we got to the plaza, I was like, wait, I should do this. But I think it's like who says it first. And she's like, no, I got this because it's going to be pottery. She was so confident that it was going to be pottery based on like where we were. And she like is a ceramicist. And I was like, are you sure? Okay.
Oh, is she?
She is. And
Oh, wow.
she was already like pretty dizzy and dehydrated. So I was like, oh no. So as soon as I saw that it was like running, I was like, this is not going to be good. And I mean, I felt really bad. I felt so bad for her. It was such a hot day. And I love puzzles. Like I love board games. I love puzzles. And I was like, shoot, like this I could have done.
No.
But yeah, she basically what happened was the map was flopped. And so not many teams had noticed that the map was flopped. So they were kind of putting it the wrong way. And that's what kind of got her tripped up. But she ran so much. And I was like, she needs water. Like, she literally needs water. And we got to the point where production was like, okay, yeah, like this is, teams were like so overheated. Like, so many teams were just like
Oh,
not
yeah.
okay. Like, but she got it. She figured it out. I was so proud of her. And yeah, we ended up surviving that leg of the race. So
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And it is, ooh, I'm sorry.
no, you're okay. It's not, yeah.
Well, yes, sorry. We definitely did enjoy seeing, and especially because I think was it the double
Yeah,
Dutchers?
they went home.
No, or was it Busy and Sunny who like got there after you guys? There was some team that arrived like
Yes,
after
Busy and
you
Sunny
guys.
literally like they would always get tripped up on directions, but like when
Huh.
they got to a challenge, they would just like speed demon through it, and I was like, oh my god, like this is nuts. So like even if they were far behind, they would get through a challenge really fast. So they got there well after us. They got it
Right.
fast, and then thank God the Double Dutchers were also with us. I love them, so I was sad.
Yes.
I do love them. But I was like, we just need to run. And so what they don't show also is I'm like
Hmm?
the plaza to the actual pit stop was easily like a mile and a half or 2 miles away. Like it was far. Like it was not
Yeah.
close by any means. And it was so late. We were so tired. We were so hungry. We were so dehydrated. And I was like, we just need to run. When we
Yeah.
made it to Phil, we were so nervous. Phil was like, you're fine. You're safe. You're in. Our camera crew pulled us aside and they literally were like, we are so impressed with your like stamping speed. Like you guys are hard to keep up with. And I was like, Yeah,
Oh
like to hear that. Like that was
my
such a
gosh.
compliment because we were like scared for our lives. That's how fast we were running.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Do you remember who you had for that
Um,
leg?
we might have had Bruno and maybe it was Bruno and Chris. I'm trying to remember. It might have been Bruno and Chris. I
We
love them. We
love
love Bruno and Chris. They
Bruno.
were great.
Yes.
We're such stans of
We
Bruno.
love.
Yes.
Bruno would fire us like every single day because we would always be unintentionally breaking a rule.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
funny.
so he would always be teasing us. Really, like all of the camera
They're
crew,
great.
incredible people.
The whole production, the whole staff is phenomenal. They're all so sweet. They take such good care of you. Like
Mhm.
all very kind. It was a great experience. Yeah.
100%.
Agreed. Completely.
Okay, so
So
let's continue where you were left off. So Silver City, you guys thought it was going to be memory, right?
Oh,
Something along, right?
yes.
yeah, well, we were just hoping. We were
Hoping.
always
Hoping
hoping
was
for
memory.
something
All right, fine.
memory because that is our strong suit. Not so much.
Yes, but then it was like time to embark. We got our directions, and I loved how they included the clip of me saying like, "Heck yeah, it's an automatic," because I was so nervous that it was going to be stick when I saw that it would be
Yeah.
a self-driving leg, and especially because I don't know if you've gotten the chance to drive in Europe, Kashori, like the roads there are
They're, they're
obviously
so
extremely different than
they're
in the
narrow, they're
States. Like
different. Yes.
exactly, 100%. And then while also like being cobblestone,
Yes.
but their like trolley system, at least in the Czech Republic, is kind of like in the middle of the road, slash they have like huge buses going as well. So that was also something to maneuver. And so
Oh my
I was
God.
just so glad that it was automatic.
Crushed it though. Did you guys take lessons before? Stick shift?
I only took 2 lessons,
I
which
mean,
my mom,
yeah.
well, my whole family was like, you should really think about taking another lesson. I was just like, oh, like, I'll be fine. I
It's hard.
swear.
Also, it's super hard to find like a teacher. Like that's just not as common anymore. We ended up hiring someone to teach Krishma a couple times. Then I took one lesson, and then my best friend's grandfather had this like old buggy, and he's like, "Oh, I'll teach you, ladies." And so he was teaching Karishma when she visited me. Literally, my best friend's grandfather. It was so funny.
Wait, I love that. Okay, well, kind of same thing with us because we just happened to be on vacation with our family friends and they also have a stick shift car and so they were gracious enough to like
Oh,
take us around in the car so we could sort of like shadow
practice. Yeah.
them. So exactly. So definitely like very like practical experiences, but you're so true. Like it is so uncommon, especially like in the States.
Yeah.
Um to find one. Like even like a rental, we looked high and low, but just could not find like
Yeah.
an independent rental. So then like our parents who know how to drive stick could teach us. Like we have to seek out like a program to learn.
Yeah.
And also, uh, we would constantly get flagged by security. I'm so sorry about the
Oh
noise.
yeah. No, no.
It's okay.
Simone, do you want to talk about security?
Oh yes. Yes. Well, okay. Did you guys also have Herman
Oh my
as
God.
like the head
Yes.
honcho
Okay.
security guard?
Security was so funny. First of all, they cracked me up. There was like the four guys. It was Herman, Chris with a K, the other Chris, and then yeah, they were hysterical.
Oh,
Um,
100%.
it was, yeah. The one thing that I regret not packing was electrolytes on the race, and I just like,
Hmm.
if I would go back, I would love to go back, but if we were to go back, number one thing that's going in my freaking backpack is electrolytes and magnesium because I would
Yes.
literally beg Medical and Chris after every leg. I'm like, please, can I have a magnesium electrolyte packet? And he's like, no, you're fine. I'm like, Chris, please.
Yeah. No, they kept on saying to us, he would like, if you break your ankle, walk it off. We're
Yeah,
not your therapists. Get over it. But we love them for it. And they were constantly, obviously, like with being in a foreign country, they would tail each of the
yes,
cars just to make sure that they were in regulation of the speed limits, and rightfully so. But I just like trying to maneuver the road, honestly, like the
are you
speed limit
speeding?
was kind of like in the back of my mind. Yeah, at times. And then they would get us a call and they'd be like, that's strike one. That's strike two.
Guys, we
You're
didn't do
and then
that.
strike three.
Tisk,
Really?
tisk.
I am
You said what?
so
We did not.
Wait,
We
you
didn't get any speeding calls, you guys.
I know. I slacked in my
there
driving.
was there was also a moment I think where you ran a red light and we got a call for that too.
Really?
Yeah, I ran a red light, and then there was another time
Oh my
where
god.
this was on the drive. Like we were almost at Kunahora at this point, so we were in the rural part of the Czech Republic already, and we pulled into this place to potentially ask for directions. And then when pulling out, it looked like I was going to make a turn in the opposite direction when I kind of wasn't. It was just the way that the car was angled.
Yeah.
But security, Chris literally gets out of the car and then he literally stands up and he's just like,
Oh my god.
and then even our camera crew was like,
What are you doing?
she's
What are you
like, she was just trying to make a right. But no, they meant business when it came to
Security
like
was, yeah.
regulations, especially on the drive to Kutnahora.
Security
It was
was
so funny.
very, very intense. Yeah, like they are strict about following rules. And you're right, like if you get strikes, then you'll get like a penalty. Like they're very strict about it.
Yes,
But they're just trying to keep us safe. But that's so funny, guys.
100%. It was so funny. And then they were just like, if you get three strikes, you're gonna have to stand on the side of the road for 15 minutes. Do you know how embarrassing that will be in front of the other teams? Do you really want to show up for yourself like that?
Oh my god.
They were just too good.
So funny. Oh my God. And Simone and I kind of had this like side quest going on where I'm so sorry about the noise in the background,
No,
but
no, don't
yeah,
apologize.
we sort of had this side quest going on where like, yeah, we were competing for $1 million, but Simone and I were also kind of competing for security's heart. And I will
Oh,
by the end of the race, I do think they liked us the most because we
yeah.
always do things to make them laugh. And we would show them like our little notes and we'd be like, see, we followed your guys' instructions. And they'd be like, do better next leg.
Yeah.
I can okay, you guys are
The
trying to
OODA
make
loop.
so much of us. This is actually like making my heart warm because Kirsch and I were always like, oh my God, security is just like, they're so fun and they're like so sweet. And there was one moment where when we were landing from paragliding, Karishma had landed in an ant, I don't know, an anthill, and she's very allergic to ants. And her foot started kind of
Oh.
swelling up. She doesn't have to take anything, but her foot just started swelling up. And I like ran over to Chris, and Chris was like, Chris is kind of cute. Like, she's going to get
Oh.
murdered for saying that. But like, you know. And so Chris runs over, security Chris, and he's like, is she allergic? Like, do we need an EpiPen? And I was like, no, 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 no. Like, and he starts like bandaging, like wrapping up her foot. Like, we were dying laughing.
Oh,
So I
that
think they
is
also had a
so
soft
funny.
spot for us.
That is too funny. We were purely just trying to make them like smile, like crack a smile. And there was a moment where we did, and even whoever was in our camera crew for this, like I can't remember which was, but he was like, "Oh my gosh, like we've never seen him smile before. You guys made him laugh?
I
What?"
love that, guys. So cute.
And
Yes.
there was one moment in an airport when Herman brought over like masks for all of us, and I took one, and it was pink, and I was like, "Oh, it's pink because we're very sweet, like a sweet color for sweet girls." And he was like, "Yeah, I guess."
I'm so serious. It's hysterical.
Yeah.
Oh my
Okay,
god.
wait, back to the leg, back to the leg. Simone, do you
Yes,
want
so sorry.
to explain how we got there and how we were doing really well with directions, but remember there was that like choline Kutna mix up, and so that's how we were thrown off a little. And Izzy and Paige were able to arrive before we did, even though they left maybe 20 minutes after we.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. Yes. So we essentially, on the way to Côte d'Or, we were doing great. Um, and then of course, we got there, but to get there, there was sort of like two exits. There was a Colleen exit, which when we pulled over, we were told, go to the Colleen exit. But then we saw a sign that said Kutna Hora. And
Oh,
so It's essentially like the highway sign said Cunahora, but then the exit said Colleen. So it was a little bit of a
So
dilemma because you're
confusing.
like,
Yeah.
we were told to get off at the Colleen exit, but will that take us to Colleen because we need to go to Cunahora? And that's what the sign says. And so I think, and correct me if I'm wrong in my memory, Hannah and Anna, but we kept on going and we followed the Cunahora road sign. Um, and turns out we could have kept on going, which we did, and then there was the faintest sign that said to get off here in Kootenai, but it was so minuscule
Yeah.
that we missed it and we just kept on driving. So in that moment, we were like, ah, like we
Oh,
should have gotten off at the directions that like we were given instead of just like purely going off of road signs. So
but it's
that's
so
another
weird.
element of the race which I feel like they don't show, which I mean, I could assume this happens to teams like often.
It happens all the time. Signage is so small, and even like the little like race signs they put up, like the red and yellow, like it is a tiny little sign on the side of the road. I'm like, you
Yes.
can barely see that. Like it is very. You were like, my eyes were like constantly like this while I was like reading the map, like looking left and right, like trying to see where
Yeah.
we were going. It is very difficult. Very, very difficult.
Very difficult, and I think something that Simone and I tried doing, and I feel like Izzy and Paige did the same thing, is in each leg, we're inevitably going to mess up.
Yeah,
What can we learn from this, and how do we prevent ourselves from
absolutely.
making the same mistake? So that was a good lesson in terms of if you're given a set of directions, follow them. And the teams that struggled with getting there ended up getting off at that earlier exit, the choline exit, because that's where they were supposed to get off, and they didn't try to kind of DIY their way to Kootenai.
Yeah.
But eventually, we get to the brewery. Yeah, I think that's how you say it, the brewery. And kind of backtracking because a majority of the episode was this train wreck alliance. We see Jag and Jazz, Nat and Steph, Joseph and Adam. They get to this brewery. They find out that it's going to be the driver's seat, and the guys, I think, are maybe under the assumption that if they were to take the driver's seat, that would only put a bigger target on their back. And so they give it to Nat and Steph. And I think Nat and Steph were kind of thinking, like, we don't know anyone here. No one else is from Nat's season of Big Brother. Therefore, we don't really have like an allegiance to anyone. Let's just give two of the all-female teams one crate. Let's give all of the all-male teams three crates, and then everyone else will receive two. And they even gave themselves two crates, which I definitely think that they could have gotten away with only giving themselves
I was
one
gonna
crate.
say, I was like, yes, like
But
it was Stephanie that did the challenge, right? Like she crushed it, but I
Yeah.
was surprised. I was like, I would have just given myself one. Like, why are you trying to play nice right now? But they did a great job. So
Oh, 100%.
yeah,
It was very
and
kind of them to give us one crate.
yeah,
very, very kind. We appreciated that so much. And what was I going to say about Nat and Steph? Wait a second. What did you just say, Kishori? I kind of
they gave
lost my
themselves
train of
two
thought.
crates, and I was just surprised by that they didn't get themselves one crate. Like I'm happy that they gave you guys one crate, but they
Yeah.
should have given themselves like less. I don't know. I was just like, what?
Right, but I think when we saw that Nat and Steph only gave us one crate,
Yeah.
we already felt really good about Joseph and Adam and Jack and Jazz based on the train debacle from leg two. And also, like, we have personal relationships with
Exactly.
both of those teams outside of the game. And so that just kind of showed, like, maybe Nat and Steph are willing to work with us despite the fact that we don't have a pre-existing relationship. And so maybe the four of us can kind of help each other out, like the four
Right.
teams.
Are we
But
foreshadowing here, guys? Is something gonna happen next episode? I don't know.
maybe, but what I will say is the race, it's not like Big Brother because it's like you could be aligned with another team, but if they're so far ahead of you, then like you can't really bring that alliance to fruition,
Yeah,
if you will. And
absolutely.
I also think that Nat and Steph gave themselves two crates because they knew that there was such a buffer between
That's
them
fair.
and like Tucker and Eric, me and
Yeah.
Simone, me and Paige, the
Yeah.
next batch of teams rolling in. So they could afford to spend a bit more time at the brewery. But again, if they had given themselves one crate and given like Izzy and Paige one crate or me and Simone one crate, I think that would have been totally reasonable and no one would have looked at them sideways.
100%. Yeah, I think that's fair. Valid.
Yeah, so those three teams, they complete the brewery challenge. Tucker and Eric, they get 3 crates. They complete it quickly. Izzy and Paige, me and Simone are the only 2 teams that only have to do 1 crate. Simone and I, we don't drink. And so when we saw that we were pulling up to a brewery and we read the little what? Like what? And the clue said something about tapping the keg. I was like, I don't know what that is. And so I was like, "Oh, you'll be fine. You'll be fine." So I was like, oh. I was a little shaken, right, Simone?
Yes, but it was so funny. Yeah, because you were like, I I don't know what to do. Like I've never tapped a keg before. And then I was just like, oh, like it's fine. They'll have a tutorial. And then she was like, but what if they don't though?
I know. The first
I
10
definitely
minutes of a roadblock or like any sort of challenge, I feel like you're just like so flustered and stressed because you're like, what is this? Like, what am I doing? Like, how am I gonna figure it out?
Yeah,
And then like once you're in the rhythm of it, like you got it. But it's just like you have to get in the rhythm and figure it
exactly.
out. And like not look at others, just focus on yourself and like learning the task at the end.
Yes, that's
exactly.
why we always say like always race like you're in last place.
Yes.
Like none of
Yes.
the surrounding teams are to be paid attention to. It's
Absolutely.
just
Exactly. And something else that's important to note about the race is they're never going to give you a challenge that's impossible to tackle or that would require you to have this like whole breadth of skills beforehand. Like they will provide a tutorial or a demonstration. Like they will give you the tools you need to do well. Obviously, some teams with whatever experience they've had in life, they may be better. They may be able to pick it up more quickly, but they're never going to give you something that's designed for you to fail. So for me to be like, oh, but what if there's no tutorial? How am I like supposed to know how to tap a cat? Like that was dumb. I was flustered, but once
it
I
wasn't
got there,
dumb.
But no, you
I
figured it out and you did a great job. I was laughing and you're like, wait,
thank
I think
you.
I got it. And it was
Like, and I was like, I
you
don't got
crushed
it.
it. You did so well.
Thank you, thank
You
you. It
killed
was
it.
like going slow and kind of getting the
Yeah.
rhythm, as you said, Kishori.
Yeah.
And once I watched the tutorial a few times and almost treated it like choreography. That's how I ended up getting it because
Yeah.
Simone and I are dancers. And so I was like, okay, if I just kind of count this like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
What kind
7,
of
8. Like,
dance did you guys do? Wait, I grew up dancing too. What kind of dance?
oh,
Yes.
Simone and I are trained in pretty much everything.
Love
Ballet,
that.
jazz, hip hop, you name it. What about you?
I
Yeah.
grew up doing like jazz, lyrical, Bollywood. Yeah.
Oh.
Thanks, guys. I
Okay,
love
wait.
it.
So then, yes. So I guess like quick little segue or quick little detour in the spirit of the race, if you will. When you guys saw that there was a breakdancing
Oh God.
challenge, oh, I was going to ask how were you feeling, and then in the spirit of us talking about like they can only cram so much footage into 1 hour and a half
So
episode.
funny.
How long were you guys actually there? Like, how many attempts did you take? What was the vibes?
Yeah, so basically when we got to that, I was so excited. I was like, I can pick up choreography fast, and I have
Mhm.
pretty like good memory. So I was like, okay,
Mhm.
this is easy peasy. And I'm like, Christian can dance. We go dancing. Like, it's fine. We'll figure it out.
There you go.
So we get there. The room is tiny. The practice room was so
Mhm.
small. Like, it literally was like a small kitchen sized room. And
Yeah.
all of the teams were there. Like, I'm pretty sure like 80% of the teams were in that room just crammed trying to learn the dance. And I was like, this is impossible. And Rod is in front of us. I'm like, I can't even see the
Our
moves because
fave.
Rod is in the front. It's like Rod and Derek. I'm like, the three men. It was like Rod, Derek, and I think Shane were in the front. I was like, how are we supposed to see the actual moves? I
Aww.
quickly figured it out. Krishna was like trying to get it down. I was like, we just need to go upstairs. We went
Mhm.
upstairs, we did it, and she couldn't remember like the middle part of the routine. And I was
Uh-huh.
getting very flustered and I started crying because I was like, I just wanted her to get it, right? And I was surprised like they didn't show that scene because like we were both just kind of like, oh my God, we need to get this, we need to get this. And so what I ended up doing was I looked terrible dancing because I was focused on yelling out her parts to her. So
Yeah.
I was telling her, I was like, left foot, right foot, jump, back, left, down, whatever. So I didn't even care how I looked. I was like doing it, but like basically yelling it out loud for her. So she knew. I was like, jump left, jump right, down the floor, like spin around. It was so
Yeah.
chaotic. And I just like left crying. I was like, we got it. But they obviously, you don't see all those scenes, those snippets of what actually goes down. But it was a really, really
Right. Oh
Oh,
my
that's
gosh, yes.
smart.
Yeah.
to
It was
yell
actually
out.
faster than it looked. Like we actually did that pretty fast. It wasn't as long as I was expecting, so that was good.
Okay, nice.
Hey,
Also, I just remember this actually, Hannah, how for our audition, like for the race, we knew that we wanted to incorporate some dance into it, and so we ended up going with a dance from season 31 when they were in Vietnam. However, we learned the breakdancing dance because it was down to either the Vietnam dance or the breakdance dance. And then I can't remember if we showed Alex both dances and she was like, do the Vietnam dance, or if we kind of just came up
Wait, you
on
guys
our own, like
danced in
maybe
your
the Vietnam.
audition for producers? Stop.
We
yeah.
I
did.
love this, guys. That's so iconic.
Yes. But no, we learned the break dance. We know like the side, front, back. And then we love the solos, like the turn
Wait,
on the ground and then turn and point.
wait, that's so funny. I love that you guys got to do that for your
Yes.
audition. That's sick.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so we're talking about the brewery. Ended up getting it. Now we're off to the plow place. The plow place, the farm, the horse farm.
Yeah.
Simone and I are from the suburbs of Chicago. We've only ever lived in really big cities,
Yeah, you're
so
like,
for
what is this?
but okay, so we did reference those little arrows that indicate, okay, this venue, if you will, this location is for the Amazing Race. Like it has been cleared out by production.
Yeah.
And we were driving. We had gotten some faulty directions,
That
but
happens.
thankfully, it
Hmm.
happens all the time, as you know, we saw with Megan and her husband Turner,
Yeah.
Matt. Sorry, as we saw with Megan and Matt this season. But we just happened to notice that there was a little arrow as we were driving past it. We had no intentions of
Yes.
going in, but
Smart
when
girl.
we saw that arrow, we were like, "Wait a second, this is probably it." It like the address has this street listed as like the street. So let's just go check it out. If it's maybe
Yeah.
something that we're supposed to come to later, then we'll at least we know where it
Know where
is
it is.
for the future. But with it, and it ended up being it.
Oh, that's
Yes, and
great. I'm
I
proud of you guys
remember,
because sometimes that can be
right?
risky. If you see something thinking it's the next challenge, I mean, that happened to, wasn't it Tucker and Eric? They thought they found it and it ended up being the pit stop and not the detour or something.
Exactly.
I mean, that happened on
And
our
Rubina and
season.
Christine did too.
Yeah, on our season two, we ended up going to, I think it was the roadblock first before the detour, and then we had to run back. And I was
Yes.
like, oh my God, this is like Hot Mess Express. But that happens more often than you think. You run into the wrong thing. And in your case, it worked out well. So I'm very happy for you guys.
Exactly. And actually, what ended up working, or we ended up learning from our mistake earlier, because in the directions, when we were talking about the Colleen exit and the Kootenai road sign,
Yeah.
we got a direction saying, like, when you see this building, you turn there and you follow the trajectory of that
Oh,
building. And so we didn't do that, but when we got directions, that immediately changed our like method of writing directions
got it.
because we were like, I'm going to write the streets, and then Hannah, no, it was Hannah that's going to write the streets, and then I was going to write like important landmarks, like when you see this landmark,
Yes,
you know
that's what
you're in the
I
right
did.
place, or you make a turn. Exactly. And so what we were
Yeah.
doing is we got the faulty directions saying continue on this road for however long, and then I think that that is what Rubina and Christine did, and that's how they made it to the
Oh,
pit stop before. But we were driving, and then Hannah noticed the arrow, and then at first we were like, just like Hannah was saying, like, oh, could this be for later? Like, let's go check it out. And then I noticed that right next to it, there was a landmark that I had written down.
oh,
And so then I was like, unless this is like a franchise and there's just this landmark like all over the
yeah.
place, but like the fact that it was there and we
Hmm.
had written it down, that was also like confirmation of like, we may have not gotten the right directions to get to this place, but we knew that that was our ending place.
Yeah.
So that also helped with us learning from our mistakes earlier.
I would say for any future racers that are listening to this podcast, like writing down landmarks was so helpful. I did that too. I would
Yes.
write down a couple every like three directions. I was like, okay, this is a landmark. This is a landmark. So I knew exactly like if the direction we were heading was correct. So I think that's great that you did that.
Yes, we definitely learned, which was amazing. But yes, so we made it to the plowing, and it was so funny the way Hannah was like, "Well, what do I do?" And she was like, "I plow," and I was like, "Yeah." And so I got the chance to work because I was a foreign exchange student type in like New Zealand and Australia. And we stayed in, like, I lived on a farm. And so we did something similar to this. And so our strategy, mine was sort of like, instead of just like stepping and kicking, and I feel like us growing up in Chicago, I don't know, does Maryland get snow?
We do. We get all the seasons. We get a lot of snow.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So then I don't know if
Not
you
like a
can
lot of
relate to
snow,
this
but
as
we
well,
have all the
Kashori. Yeah.
seasons. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And so I don't know if like when you were growing up as well, like sort of like kicking the snow out of your way purely other than just like
Yes.
stepping it. So that's what I was doing was
Smart.
as Hannah was plowing, I was like kicking my way through to
I
sort
love
of
it.
like open a path instead of just taking my chances and hoping that I step on it. And so that was sort of like our method of
Yeah.
action. And then we ended up getting it.
Yay.
And it was also so funny because like we were constantly seeing Izzy and Paige like everywhere we went, and that was fun how they kept that like in the episode, like how we
Neck
kept
and
on just
neck.
like alternating.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We really did keep going back and forth, but also with the plowing, we decided to kind of snake our way through it because that would allow
Yes,
us to
that
cover
too.
more surface
Smart.
area instead of just
Smart.
going in a straight line. So I think those were two strategies that helped us out, but we ended up going past the clue. And what we should have done is we should have just looked at all of the other plows in a row and
Yeah.
been cognizant of the fact that, okay, the plow or the clue is in the same place in each lane. So it's probably somewhere around here. We just kept going because we were like, okay, well, maybe in our lane it's going to be different.
You
And we were
never know.
still
They
like,
could mix it up. You never know.
Right.
Yeah.
and we were still like close enough to the front of the pack where there were so many teams behind us and
Yeah.
also a lot of lanes that were unoccupied. So we were like, maybe half of them have the clue here,
Yeah.
the other half have the clue over there. So we kept going and then we just came right back around. We were like, okay, it's probably in line with these other plows. And sure enough, it was. We got the clue. Simone and I, the entire time we were doing that, we were, well, first of all, Simone was neighing like a horse, which was so cute.
Yeah.
Show that they only showed Tucker, I think, just being
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
he
so
like got
funny.
on all
And
fours. I was
then
like, what is this?
yes. And then Joseph saying, "Give me a sugar cube."
yeah, yes.
Funny.
Oh my gosh, those boys are so goofy. But
Yeah.
Simone and I very much felt like Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie. That's what you and I kept saying, like in our
I
over
Yeah.
with the
dying.
booth.
Yes. Like
What
the
was that
simple
show that they were
life.
on? Like the OG show. It's like the what was that show called? Like Nicole and Richie.
The simple life.
The Simple Life. Oh my gosh, so funny.
Ian and I love that show.
Yes, Simone and I were such stans of Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie, but like two girls, they're from
City Girls.
Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're girls. They've never been on a farm. That's me and Simone. Except Simone does have that foreign exchange experience. So Simone was a bit more well equipped, but I was like, what am I doing wearing overalls
Yeah.
and hunter boots? Like this is so new. But Simone and I, you and I were, I think, great about just embracing everything that the race threw at us. We had
100%.
positive attitudes the whole way through. We were always smiling, and we would like have these stretch classes and Pilates classes and aerobics classes and hip hop classes. Like we would just, Simone and I were having fun. Like that is
Yeah.
what we came to do. We came to have fun and hopefully win $1 million along the way. But Simone and I were really just looking for time, like
Yeah.
uninterrupted time spent together because we don't get that as adults anymore.
Right.
But that was super fun. And then we see that we have to go to this ice rink. And Simone, like you talked about this, I think when we did human bowling, I don't think it made the episode though, but like you do have some experience taking ice skating lessons when you were much younger. And so that's why we decided to put you on the ice. And you did really well. Like
Did.
Kishori, I barely had the chance to get the clues out and start kind of taking my notes for the day and like put on a blanket before Simone had already gotten it. So I was like,
I
oh,
was
okay,
impressed.
let's go.
That is ice skating is not easy, and like you did such a good job. Also, like
Thank
playing
you.
hockey while you're at it, like scoring and shooting. I would be like a quick
Yeah,
skater.
that I've never done.
Yeah,
I've
that
never
is
done
hard.
hockey.
Not
It
easy.
was. No, it was.
You sliding into the splits at the end as soon as you got it. I was like, oh, whoa.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is I had no recollection of doing that like whatsoever, and I think that that just goes to show how, if you can relate to this as well, Kashori, how like in the challenges sometimes like so tunnel vision
Yes,
that like you can barely even see.
I
And so
know.
like I completely blacked out at times because I was so like focused on this. So I didn't even remember doing the splits, but watching it back, it was so cute.
Oh, I feel like there's so many little details that like you don't want to forget throughout the day. Like I was taking just like you, I was taking very vivid notes, like very detailed notes. I had like colored pencils and I would write down like the streets and the challenge and the color of like what the person was wearing when we were checking into the mat, like everything. Like I would write down like the flag and every detail because you just don't know what the final challenge and the finale is going to be, like what kind of memory challenge it's going to be. And so I was telling Karishma, I was like, you need to take really detailed notes throughout the day too. And at the end of each leg of the race, we are going to compare our notes and we're going to talk about
Mm.
what we did well, what we need to improve upon, like communication style, like how can we get better every leg of the race. And it sounds like you guys are doing the same thing. But I think staying calm, staying level headed, and having just like a positive outlook is like you guys are doing that, obviously. But I think teams that do that just like come out of the experience too, just like you enjoy it. Like you had such a good time. So special. That's how we felt.
Yes, and we feel like a lot of people on your season did that too, like Ricky and Cesar, you guys, of course, and like Danny and his mom, Team Walla Walla,
Yeah.
who shout out to them, both like the sweetest.
Yes.
Um, and then I'm trying to think who else. Was it, oh, who? It was Yvonne and
Melissa. Yeah.
Melissa. Yes, they were also like
They're
pretty
so
level-headed. Same with
great.
like Busy and Steady. Basically everybody.
Well,
Maya
people
and
today,
Rohan.
Juan and Shane were not taking notes. And literally it was like, I was like, you guys aren't taking notes? And I remember telling them that, and they're like, no. And I was like, well, what if the last challenge on the race is a memory challenge? Which it was not on our season. It was not a memory challenge, if you remember. And they were like, oh my God. So then they started taking notes after I told them.
No, how
No
season
way.
38 of you to help out another team when
I'm
that's
like,
the enemy.
oh my God, I know.
Exactly.
Okay, so we end up getting or Simone ends up getting the hockey roadblock,
Yes.
whatever it was called. See, I'm not
Yeah.
when it comes to sports, but we get this coin. Like, there's not a clue that's given to us, and that tripped up, from my understanding, a lot of teams. That definitely tripped us up too, because Simone had the clue, or Simone had the coin that she was given. No clues were handed out when you completed that roadblock, and so I remember thinking, like, should we go back? Maybe, like, you dropped it
I
somewhere.
dropped something. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. Yeah.
I hadn't seen the coin. She was just hanging on to it. I thought maybe it was like a souvenir that you would have to hand to Phil, or that you would have to use at the next detour, road, whatever. Because that leg in particular didn't have any detours, and so we were kind of expecting a detour coming up, and so we were like, maybe we need this coin for the detour, but like, where's the clue to tell us where to go to the next place? I didn't
Yeah.
even think to ask to look at the. So we ran back inside. We were asking everyone, like the person who was checking, the person in the locker room, like, did we drop something? Did you give us a clue? And maybe we just like set it down somewhere and ran off. And they were like, no, no. And then we asked Izzy and Paige, because they had gotten it right after us. And we were like, did they give you anything? Like, did you guys get a clue? Are we missing something? And Paige just kept saying, like, no, I only got this thing.
Just the coin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she didn't tell us where to go, but she was just like, no, I only got this coin.
Oh
So we
my
were like,
God. And was that even, that wasn't even shown in the episode.
no, and a lot of teams struggled with it, but I guess they wanted to focus the majority of the episode on Jag and Jag. Like, give me a
Yeah, on the
break.
trainer.
Editing is so interesting. Like editing is so wild because you're right. There are so many
Yeah.
details that you guys know that are happening behind the scenes that we as the audience are not seeing.
Oh, which is why these recaps are so important, and you guys should like, comment, and subscribe every single week.
Oh, we lost Hannah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, wait, no, me as well. Hannah Banana?
Wait, no,
Oh
no, no, no,
no.
no, no,
Well,
no, no,
while
no.
she's reconnecting, yes. So as she was
Dang it.
saying, Paige also just told us that she got the coin.
Okay.
And so then after that, we all realized together, like, okay, this is where we're supposed to go. And so basically Hannah and I and Izzy and Paige, we literally got directions from the same people. Like that's how tight we were.
Wow.
Yes, and so then it was literally just a race to the pit stop and getting there with the directions. Not gonna lie, we were kind of both like holding each other accountable, like car wise, to make sure, like, well, if we're going down, then we're going down together.
Yeah.
Like if we get lost, then we both get lost together, since we again literally received like the exact same directions from the exact same
You
people.
always feel a little safer when you see another team in sight. You're like, okay,
Oh,
there's another team there.
100%.
Like they're either doing well with us or we're not doing well together.
Exactly, but totally strength in numbers, no
Yes.
matter which way you look at it.
Yes.
And so we made it to the pit stop okay. We parked, and then it came time to actually run on foot to the pit stop. And what was not shown, which Hannah and I find so funny, is we literally were running around because you saw like there was a big building, like large grounds.
Yeah.
And essentially, Hannah and I were running all over this building in circles, so
Oh
much
my
so
God.
that we were getting in the shot of like interviews, um, for like the racers, which I thought they would never include this because that would definitely break the fourth wall. But I thought it would have been so funny if they put us like as the team are doing like their confessionals, you just see Hannah and I
I should
like
have
running in
done
the
that.
back, like
Oh my God.
I know, because we were literally running around for like 10 minutes.
I can relate to this so hard. And
Uh,
again, something that's not shown to the viewers, and it's really hard unless you experience it, but you are running miles upon miles, and every destination is so far away from one another.
right.
Even like the pit stop grounds itself, like they just tell you, like, oh, it's a park or whatever it is, right? And like a park could be like
Exactly.
a massive park, and you're
No,
literally
right.
zigzagging, running around through the park, around the park, and you're like, where is Phil?
Exactly. And so
Crazy.
essentially, like literally, that is exactly what happened to us. And like to kind of like break the fourth wall, we kind of just, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, whatever. We would kind of look for clues to see like where production would be.
Smart.
And so if we saw like a big camera crew, if we saw lights, we
Yeah.
knew like, okay,
Oh,
we are headed
100%.
in the right
You're
direction.
going the right way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think I'm allowed to say that.
I think that's
Um,
fine. Yeah.
yes, and essentially there was a lady and she was in the building, but she was not related to production as far as we know. And she gave us a clue. She said, go essentially one way, and then we were like, okay, well, she must be. And Phil literally had to come outside of the door or like stand in the doorway because we were just not seeing this.
Oh
And
my
so
God.
we were able to see Phil, and then ran towards the pit stop, and then we made it!
Yes.
Yay! Hannah Banana, I just filled in the story about us running around getting that little tidbit from that lady.
And
Every
then,
little in detail counts. Like the little moments that you see, like, okay, that might be
Yes.
something, that might be something, or someone's pointing your direction, or like production clues. Like you have to be very aware of your surroundings.
Right.
for sure. But then we also learned in that moment, like, you probably just shouldn't blindly trust people because we don't know who's part of production. We don't know just
True.
a passerby. Also, why would production be giving us an advantage or a clue? That
Well, they
doesn't
never
make
will.
Yeah.
sense.
Production will never ever. They are so like they will never
Yes.
say anything. They're so neutral. They're like they won't even show a face. Like they're so like stoked.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think at the moment we should have realized, okay, that's not someone from production because someone from production wouldn't be pointing us in a specific direction. And she probably wasn't trying to mislead us, but she was maybe pointing us in the direction where she had seen teams coming from. And so we blindly trusted her in that moment. And after that, we made the conscious decision, like, we're no longer going to do that anymore. We're going to pay better attention to our surroundings. And then we ended up running to the back. And did you talk about the fact that just wouldn't have made sense because they were doing interviews in the back? So
Yeah,
hello.
and I was telling Kashori how they would obviously never include this because that would break the fourth wall, but it would have been so funny if throughout the confessionals you could just see us running and be like, and then just like run out of the shot.
No,
Like
because we
little
kept
cartoon
looking at the
characters.
teams. We'd be like, Shaq, Chaz, Joseph, Adam,
Yeah.
Oh
Tucker,
my
Eric.
God.
We weren't terribly far behind those like the train wreck alliance. I mean, Tucker and Eric already caught up to and then surpassed Joseph and Adam. So Joseph and Adam went down in placement, and Simone and I were not terribly far behind them. So at this point, we were relatively caught up. They didn't have as much of a lead on us anymore. And so that was good to see because we didn't know when the next equalizer would be. But did you talk about how Izzy and Paige technically came in 5th place, but they didn't read the clue right? They didn't run in with their backpacks.
Oh, yes.
And
Yes,
so,
I didn't. Yes, take it
okay.
away.
So, I mean, long story short, they checked in right before we checked in. Like, we saw them run into this door. We ended up running into that door not too long after, but they left their backpacks in the car, and it said, like, this is the end of self-driving. You have to bring all your stuff with you. So production was like, you didn't read the clue correctly. Go back, get your backpacks, and then come back and you can check in. So Simone and I actually placed 6th, but because of that little mix-up and them not reading their clue correctly, Simone and I were given the 5th place win. So top 5, 2 legs in a row.
Exactly.
All
And
Girl,
yes,
I'm so proud of you ladies. Killing
yes.
it. But again,
Thank you.
that is what sets aside the top teams versus the bottom teams, right? Because you are reading carefully. So
Exactly.
Nice.
And I think that, so sorry to interrupt. I think that when Izzy and Paige, like, they could see in their Matt talk with Phil, I think it was Paige who said, like, that was the plan all along. We haven't asked her about this, of course, because we're just finding out what they said with Phil. But something tells me that that's what they were alluding to. Maybe, like, that was our plan all along to get 6th place, like, as sort of just like a ha-ha moment, even though they did get 5th place.
Interesting. Huh.
Exactly.
So that was a fun little, like, Easter egg. We're gonna have to ask them about that, Hannah.
We do. And Simone, you and I would say we were good at multiple things. We also struggled at a lot of things. Like, we were not a perfect team by any means, but we were very careful about reading those clues. Like, we really left no stone unturned. And I do think that's so, so important. I did want to kind of touch on some of the other teams' journeys, like things that stuck out to all 3 of us before I leave. Let's see, who checked in after Izzy? Oh, Rubina and Christine had a rough leg, it seemed like. They were getting flustered and lost, and they ended up going to the pit stop before the plow challenge.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, very hard.
Sorry, so there was someone plowing downstairs, so I just turned off my mic.
But they powered through.
Yes, and one thing I want to really give them their accolades for is Christine throughout the whole way was so gentle with Rubina, and I think you could really see her big sister come in. Like, it really showed up in leg 3's episode, and that was really
side of the road, and she was like,
yes.
Yes.
That was so sweet to see. So I definitely think that Rubina and Christine made this episode, like Kat and Alex were the shining stars of episode 1. The shining stars of episode 2 were maybe Tucker and Eric because of the ice cream and the fridge magnets, or the train wreck alliance. And then the shining stars of this episode, I'd say, were Christine and Rubina because they were able to power through and just get through it with big smiles on their faces. Let's see.
And same with Joseph and Adam as well, with like losing their keys.
Losing the car keys. Oh my God, I was so nervous for them. I was like, oh my God, this could be in the field. This could be anywhere. This could take a very long time to find. I was very stressed before I went to the commercial break, and I was like, what's happening?
Yeah. Well, in the Chat BCC group that we have going, Joseph and Adam were explaining how production was like, listen, if you don't find your keys, you will be disqualified. Because we will sit here at this field until every team passes you. So find your keys. So,
God.
There was a lot riding on that. And the fact that they were able to go back and find their keys with such level heads, like without fighting, without arguing, without getting themselves too worked up, like that was impressive. And I want to shout them out for that because that's going to be a good skill, like still being able to do what you need to do under all of this duress and pressure. I love those boys. They're so really our entire cast. And you probably felt this way about your cast too, but obviously like with us, I've known Joseph for years. Simone and I have stayed with Joseph in the past. I've known Highland for years. I've lived with him. So I think this just adds yet another layer to our friendships and our relationships with one another. And it was truly so fun. Kat and Alex also had a bit of a rough go. Alex was struggling at the brewery. He also struggled at the ice hockey challenge. It took him 25 tries. I could really see how frustrated he was, but he ended up getting it. And Kat was a good cheerleader. Um, Kat was hilarious when she was like, "Yeah, slow and steady wins the race, except against last place or something like that."
Yeah.
Race for $1 million because you're last.
Yeah, Kat actually is like I have been loving
I
her
love
like
her.
witty
She's funny.
tidbits this season. Like even when Alex was like, "Oh, I've been to Prague," like or I've been to like the airport at Prague, and then Kat was like, "We have a leg up in the competition," stuff like that, where she's very quick
Very
on her
cute.
feet.
She's very witty. She's hilarious. Alex is also hilarious. Alex,
They
I
both
swear to
are.
God, was meant for this life. If there's anyone who like needs to be a reality star, it's absolutely Alex.
Alex.
And then with Megan and Matt, they started off so far in the back of the pack. They end up catching up to Kat and Alex at the brewery. Turner speeds through that, despite having two crates. Literally finishes within like seconds of Alex because you see him waiting in line to get his beer bottles checked. So at this point, we don't know, are Kat and Alex going home? Are Turner and Megan going home? But then Turner and Megan, they say that they got faulty directions, and I believe them. But they drive essentially back to Prague, and
I
they
know.
almost
I was like, no,
get back
no,
to Prague.
no.
And then they
Yes.
get out of the car, and the guy says something about the Colleen exit, and Megan goes, "Oh, so continue on in that direction." Colleen was where we were.
Oh,
So that
God.
person did give them the right directions, but they still kept going in the wrong direction. I don't know. I don't know, because editing can sometimes make things look a little out of order. But Megan and Matt, they show up to the plowing challenge. They don't even make it to the ice hockey
Oh,
roadblock.
they got eliminated.
The
First
worst getting
eliminated.
eliminated is when Phil meets you at a challenge and you're like, oh no.
And like
Eliminated.
the
Oh.
sun had set, and I felt so bad for them. But like, if two people can handle that with grace and a smile on their face, it's those two. Like,
Yeah.
you didn't see them
100%.
argue. You saw them be supportive of one another throughout the entirety of their journey. And so I want to give a shout out to the Turners. We love them.
Yes.
Another
Yes.
Turner. I have to cheer.
I know.
Exactly. They're probably distant cousins
Kishori.
of yours.
Oh, I
Yeah,
don't know.
probably.
So funny.
Imagine.
Yeah.
But any, I guess, closing, like that's pretty much it for me. Simone and I are still waiting on a dance challenge, so I hope
Yes.
one soon, because that's definitely going to be our strong suit.
Okay.
But any closing thoughts from you, Simone, before we kind of get Kishori's closing thoughts?
I would say that you summed everything up perfectly. I feel like, again, it was a really, really fun leg. And it was super cool to see like all the teams' journeys. And I feel like really every team has been like supportive of one another. Not only like supportive of each other as racers, but like within their teams. They seem to be very like motivating to each other, which is nice to see.
For now, I'm sure we'll inevitably see
Yeah.
cracks as this holds.
Dun, dun,
I don't know.
dun.
No, but
We don't know.
we genuinely don't know because we
Yeah.
haven't seen the show. But Kishori, thank you so much for coming on and giving your 2 cents, and also kind of talking about yours and Krishma's experience on your season that filmed 3 years ago. I had no idea. Um,
Yeah.
but okay, a couple questions for you. Would you return to the race if they asked you to compete again?
100 billion%. I would
Uh,
love to return to the Amazing Race in a heartbeat. I'd be packing my bag immediately. I'd be packing a smaller bag, but
uh,
it was such an amazing experience, truly, literally. And yeah, it's just so special, so special. And I also like miss production and seeing people's faces.
yes.
I
No,
agree with you.
literally.
And Simone, did you have rapid fire for her?
Oh,
I do indeed have some
oh,
rapid
oh my
fire.
God.
Yes. Okay. So, would you rather cook and eat plantains for the entire leg of the race?
Okay.
Or would you rather, maybe so that it wouldn't impact your race, would you rather drink maybe non-alcoholic beer from the brewery for the rest of the race?
Oh, definitely cook and eat plantains. I feel like I'd be like broken if I was like,
Oh, that's true. I mean, that is too funny. Okay. Would you rather race in huge butterfly wings or would you rather race in plowing overalls and boots?
um, the wings were so annoying, but probably the wings because it's less weight. But they were just, we were running sideways down the streets because I had my backpack and my
Yes.
fanny pack, and they were just so wide, so I was running sideways.
Yes. Oh, that's just too good. It was so fun to see like in everybody's makeup as well. Yes, okay. Would you rather get a clue from a coin and try to figure that out? And I know that you guys didn't do the riddle, but or would you rather do the those who wander are not lost riddle?
I don't know. I feel like the coin was a little fun. It was interesting. It was different. I think that'd be cool.
Ah, amazing! And that was our final rapid fire question
Oh, thank you
series.
guys so much for having me. This was so lovely, and I'm excited to keep rooting and cheering for my gals, seeing
Oh,
how this
thank you.
progresses.
Thank you
Ah,
so
this
much,
was
Tori.
so
And
fun.
really quickly before you go, can you kind of tell us what's next and also where we can find you on social media?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at Kishori Turner, Kishori Turner, and then my TikTok is also the same. And I don't know, I feel like I definitely want to travel to some more countries. I don't know, we might have some upcoming things next year, so we'll see. But yeah, it was so
Ooh.
good seeing you guys.
Yes, you as
Yes.
well.
Well, and I did want to say, for those of you watching, thank you so much for tuning in for our Amazing Race recaps. We have a new guest on every single week. Shout out to the Turners. We love you both, Megan and Matt. You guys killed it, and it's been such just a pleasure to watch you guys on TV. Very funny, may I add. And I love how Megan fell on her way out, and she also fell on her
Yeah.
way during the first episode. She very
Yeah,
much went
very
out in
full
the same way
circle.
that she came in exactly. So yeah, stay tuned for our next recap. Like, comment, subscribe. And also, for those of you who are based in New York slash on the East Coast, Jersey, Philly, whatever have you, Tucker and Enzo are hosting a party on Wednesday, October 22nd. Kishori, I will text you about that because it's going to be in Brooklyn. So we would love to have you. And please
Yay!
pass along the information to anyone from your season who's New York based and would like to come as well.
Oh, we will be there for sure. Love that.
Yes. Okay. I
Yay!
can't wait to see you then. But thank you so much, Simone, for joining me and doing this with me. I love
And thank
talking
you
about
so
our
much,
time on the
Hannah
race.
Banana. Me
Oh, super.
too!
Love it.
Okay, bye guys. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody!
Bye.